Hey, this is Henry, your instructor at Contact Front CS. Just want to give you a quick trigger trips for the day. Some of the things that I go over on the range are trigger manipulations. One specifically is how to press and prep your trigger. Now, every trigger is different. So a Glock trigger is different than a SIG trigger. A SIG trigger is different than a Staccato 2011. Staccato 2011 is obviously different than a revolver. So just make sure whatever gun you own, you know what kind of trigger it is and what kind of tension it creates when you press that trigger. Now there's another part of that tension that has to do with the weight of the trigger. So as you focus on isolating your finger right before you start to press and prep, one of the principles I teach is also isolating your finger, right? The best way to isolate your finger is to make sure that your finger is not completely smacked up against the rail of your handgun. All right, give it a little bit of space in order to isolate this trigger finger right here. All right, that allows you to relax the tension. Obviously, a lot of times there's subconscious muscles that are obviously interconnected with your trigger finger, and the closer you are to squeezing versus pressing, that's gonna create the squeezing mechanisms to act, right? That's natural. So in order to prevent it the best you can, try to make sure that you start to practice with a little bit more gap in your trigger finger right there. I don't teach that. I know there's some school of teaching that you have to have your trigger finger right, or your trigger right here at the pad of your finger between the line and the tip of your finger, but everyone's hands are different. So that's a technique. If you practice shooting with the tip of your finger and your grip and your technique has been established and you shoot well, that's gonna be different than somebody else's. But in principle, if you want to learn isolation and proper press to the rear, that little gap is gonna help you. The last tip I'm gonna give you is pressing to the rear when your firearm is presented at eye level, right where your nose is. The key to think about is this finger coming back to your nose, perfectly back to your nose. That's going to allow you to have an even press to the rear, all right? And watch your shooting get closer, or if not, more precise as you go along in your experience in shooting. All right, hope that you found that helpful. If you want more tips, feel free to follow me at Contact Front CS. Message me if you want do a Zoom call or an in-person. I'm here for you. Thank you. God bless.